Coming up on this edition of Southwest TV News. It was an evening of reflection, healing, and taking a positive step forward as a capacity crowd gathered at the Sky Center in Swift Current for the screening of the documentary also called Swift Current. With a new year upon us, many people set resolutions to get in shape or choose a healthier lifestyle. And for some, the consideration of quitting smoking. As of January the 1st, a new MultiMaterial recycling program launched across the province.
Thanks for joining us here today. A page in Swift Current's history has been turned following a presentation with Sheldon Kennedy.
Turn that black cloud or whatever.
It was an evening of reflection, healing, and taking a positive step forward as a capacity crowd gathered at the Sky Center in Swift Current for the screening of the documentary also called Swift Current. An in-depth look at the life of former Swift Current Bronco and NHL player Sheldon Kennedy and his road to recovery following years of sexual abuse by his former hockey coach Graham James. A story which leads to the man Kennedy is today as an advocate for youth and other victims of abuse across the country and worldwide. A film which spurred a panel discussion and a feeling of inspiration for many in the crowd.
I've followed this story from the beginning, and I think it's important for people to not continue to be in denial. It's courageous for anyone, to come out and say that they've been abused. And my comment in the audience tonight was, before my question was, thank you for having the courage to come out and share your story over the last 20 years and for making people feel uncomfortable, because oftentimes the truth makes people feel uncomfortable and people are afraid to do that. So it was important for me to be here to say that to Sheldon and to say thank you.
While for others like Brad Gates, a close friend of Sheldon Kennedy who also appears in the documentary, a sense of wonder continues as to how the actions of Graham James were never questioned, and Sheldon Kennedy became the victim left out in the cold.
How it got to this point and how he ended up here, and but as a community, you're thinking everybody's going to turn a blind eye, right? Geez, this coach is winning, we're going to be Memorial Cup champions. You're going, and I think that got in there and how stuff happened, and with Sheldon, how he had no curfew. That's why he was fun to party with, right? And how that happened. And I work with a lady who billets two kids, and she said, how can that happen? She said, if my kids are out past 5 minutes past curfew, I'm trying to find them. I'd be in my car looking for them, and just how he had the free run of everything.
Along with the documentary was the announcement of the Safe Places Youth Certified program by the City of Swift Current, an initiative which is still in the early stages, targeting key organizations who work with youth in the community to properly screen their volunteers and other staff through criminal background checks and further ensuring that certain individuals do not fall through the cracks and enter the sports or any other field involving youth.
Really got started last year with, quite frankly, the young guy in Maple Creek. He really identified for us the gap that was there in communities. We've got a lot of great national leaders like Hockey Canada we've talked about a lot, and they offer training and screening, but there's too many areas and communities that were slipping through the cracks, and the inspiration really came from him.
A program which is applauded by Sheldon Kennedy as he sees Swift Current now turning a page in a positive direction and finally dealing with the issues of abuse and bullying head on, rather than turning a blind eye and avoiding the discussion.
I mean, I look at my situation. Here's a guy that, was written off in the hockey world and many walks of life as a drunk loser, threw away his hockey career and, sexual abuse, and it was tragic and ugly. And I think, it happened in Swift Current, and the same kind of Swift Current is painted a little bit by the same brush. Should have done this, should have done that, or whatever. And I think that they're in a position to be leaders. If anybody has the opportunity to turn something very negative into something very positive, it's this city. And I think that, that's, something that's very possible. And I think, people will pay attention because it's Swift Current.
Sentiments which were also echoed by fellow victim Todd Holt, who continues to be an advocate for youth.
We hate coming in after it's already done. Why can't we prevent it? So I think this is a program that, is ultimately going to be the one that takes it and you know what, maybe we start stopping people before it happens. So, instead of dealing with the issues of recovery and stuff like that, let's stop it before it happens. I speak today because I don't want this to happen to your children or anyone's children.
A positive program benefiting the youth in the community, which Saskatchewan's Premier is also making note of.
We're going to look very carefully at it from a provincial perspective and find out how it is we can either encourage it to be expanded across the province and potentially attached to those groups that we fund. The government indirectly funds a lot of sports organizations and cultural groups, and if we have a chance to take what Swift Current has led in crafting and developing and take it to other parts of the province to make sure that every child in Saskatchewan has a safe place to engage in sports and arts and culture and play, then we ought to do that.
And as the conversation continues on Swift Current's new Safe Places program, organizations and other businesses are encouraged to become youth certified, further instilling a safe community for youth and all residents. More details on the Safe Places program are available through City Hall.
Saskatchewan is not just a great place to be from. It is a great place to be.
If you're looking to kick the habit in 2016, the Canadian Cancer Society has a few ideas to help get you started.
With a new year upon us, many people set resolutions to get in shape or choose a healthier lifestyle. And for some, the consideration of quitting smoking. And if kicking the habit is your goal in 2016, the Canadian Cancer Society says it all starts with proper planning.
With tobacco, I guess my advice to people who are thinking about quitting is, to give it some thought and, to think about it and think about some of the reasons why it's important for you to quit and to plan for it. I think that really is key. Get ready for it, plan for it, make sure you have some supports in place, whether it's our smokers helpline or a trained pharmacist, family members, just psychologically prepare for it, because I believe from personal experience as well as from talking to many people that is really important, and that makes it your likelihood of quitting all the more great.
And with Saskatchewan leading the pack with the highest rate of smokers in the country, quitting all forms of nicotine is better off for your health in the long run.
We know that at least 30% of cancer deaths are related to tobacco use. If we took tobacco out of the equation, we would actually see cancer rates dropping. And in the case of lung cancers among men, they are dropping because men quit smoking sooner than women. Women started smoking later. Sort of the smoking rates among women peaked in the 70s versus men in the 60s. And so now, as men quit smoking, we're seeing lung cancer rates drop. Women are just beginning to level out. So definitely, if you smoke, you significantly increase your risk of developing a cancer, and that's not only lung cancer. There are a number of cancers associated with tobacco use.
With Weedless Wednesday approaching on January 20th during National Non-Smoking Week, you're encouraged to try avoiding nicotine at least for one day. And when you're seriously ready to quit, there's a number of options to help in your goal, from nicotine replacement products available through your local pharmacy or a call to the Smokers Helpline.
Saskatchewan communities offering recycling programs are set to benefit from a new provincial program. We have more in this report.
As of January the 1st, a new MultiMaterial recycling program launched across the province. The program is a cost-shared initiative between businesses and municipalities that will provide funding for the collection of recyclable household materials, including printed paper, newsprint, cardboard, plastic, metal, and glass packaging. The program will be managed by MultiMaterial Stewardship Western, a nonprofit organization that already operates similar programs in BC, Manitoba, and Ontario, and will collect fees based on the size of each participating business, as well as the production of paper and packaging of products. A program which is welcomed by municipalities.
We've been in the program, for a year now. We've been waiting for these changes to come along, so we're really excited about that. It's going to provide some assistance to us as a city to provide these recycling services and probably enhance some of the stuff as we go forward.
Enhanced services for local residents, which could include curbside recycling.
Everybody's getting on board, and obviously we're getting more and more requests for recycling services. So it tells us that the community is getting more and more in tune with it. So the next big step is the curbside. Unfortunately, as we study that, it's likely to be more costly than what we're running in the depot system today. So we want to make sure that we've done all our diligence in trying to prepare for that, and that people are going to be accepting of those costs as we go forward.
The City of Swift Current's recycling program currently involves a number of partners, including the Saskatchewan Abilities Council, who operate the Recycle Depot, and Triways, which collects the recyclables and hauls all materials to other collection agencies.
Well, this brings to a close another episode of Southwest TV News, reporting the stories that matter to you. We always welcome your news tips. You can always reach us here by phone at our studio or by email to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. Also, be sure to join us daily online for the latest news from across Southwest Saskatchewan and so much more at MyLocalTV.ca. And be sure to follow us on a range of social media. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Carol Andrews.